welcome to Moving Fearlessly Chat 20. We are officially growing up. We're out of the teens.
Yeah.
We're very, very pleased about that. And we're very, very pleased that you
birthday. Yeah, that's right, exactly.
Yes. Thank you, Tim. Happy. So for those who don't know, Moving Fearlessly is a collaboration between Fearless Communicators and Moving Communication. So Moving Communication is based in Sydney. That's Johanna, is the creator of Moving Communication. And Fearless Communicators is based in New York City, but we work globally. And for the last couple of years, we've been coming down to Australia to facilitate some of our programs. And we work in helping people to birth their stories. We're story doulas. And so we've worked with Marg and Johanna on their stories. And soon we're going to be working with Diana and Tiff on their stories in an upcoming program. And what happened with us in March, when the whole world went as it did in March, we had to quickly pivot. And the thing that we did is we started an online chat series, which is now into the late 30-something chats based out of New York. And it was a little while into this chat series that Johanna said, what about us down here? And so we said, well, yes, absolutely. Let's start an Australasia chat series. And so this is what you've just turned up to. Moving Fearlessly is exactly that collaboration. And for Johanna and I, when we were creating this space, when we were creating this chat series, one thing that was clear to us is that we wanted to support women and their thought and being leadership. We wanted to create a platform that was open, welcoming, and invited all of the amazing ways that women turn up in the world, in their leadership, in their creativity, in their thoughts, in their being, in their everything. And that is what we've had for 19 chats so far. And that's what we're going to have today for number 20. So there's a couple of things that we do as we begin our programming. The first thing that we do is something that I learned when I was working with African-American communities based in the United States. Before they begin gatherings, is they ask for an acknowledgement and permission from the elder in the group to begin the gathering. So you get to self-identify. If you identify as an elder, I'm going to ask your permission to officially begin, and that looks like this. You just give us a bit of elevated sparkulation to the screen. So elders, are we ready to begin? Thank you. We are officially begun by the wisdom of our elders. We have permission. And I also just want to state at this point, Fearless Communicators is based in the United States. And as a US company that works globally, we feel it is important to share and acknowledge that we live and operate and work on Indigenous lands. At the moment, I am standing on Kalinago, Carib land, and you are all standing on Indigenous land. And I wish now to acknowledge all of those lands, the ancestors and elders past, present, and emerging. We also feel it's important to acknowledge at this time that there is a prevalence and a persistence of institutionalized racism, misogyny, LGBTQ plus phobia, ageism, and ableism in communities across the globe. It is our commitment to use our voices, our bodies, and our stories in the dismantling of those oppressive systems in the hope of justice, equity, and freedom for us all. So it's in that energy, in that light that we come to you today. If you would like to also acknowledge the land that you are standing on, the land that you are a guest on at the moment, you can just add that into the chat for us so we can see where we're all coming from today. And then the other thing that we like to do when we begin together is we like to take a moment together, because we are connected across all of these different places and spaces, and Zoom brings us into one room. But we can also connect a little bit more than just a box on a screen. And one of the people who is a master at doing this, my friend Johanna.
Yes.
Over to you, Yo.
Yes, thank you, Deb. Good morning, everyone. So we'll do a little connecting exercise to reach out through these square boxes. So I'm holding a ball of energy, and it's going to pass around all of us, and it's going to change. With each box, it'll be something else. And I'm going to pass it by calling out someone's name, and I'm going to pass it through the screen to them, and they're going to take it, and then it will become something else, and they'll pass it through the screen to someone else by calling out their name, until we've started, building these threads of connection between us all. So I've got this ball of energy, and I call out to Annette. And we can put a sound and a movement, and Annette will grab that. And maybe unmute yourself, everyone, so we can hear your voice too. Let's bring our voice into this. That's another way we start to thread our connection. And Annette grabs it, and she'll call out someone else and pass it to someone else.
Oh, no, I dropped.
You dropped it.
I dropped it, so I've got to pick it up. Yeah, so here it is. And it's, oh, look, I can only be as big as a screen, though, I think. Let me see.
Well, you can stand up.
It's got these funny crinkly edges on it, and I think I'd like to give that to Sally Green.
Ooh.
Is Sally Green?
Oh,
it's yours.
Look at that crinkly thing. Oh, it moves a lot. It moves a lot. But it's getting longer and longer. Longer and longer and longer. Oh. I'm going to pass this to Claire. Oh, careful.
Thank you, Sally. Oh, just going to stretch that out a little.
Yeah.
Bang,
There you go.
back where it needs to go.
Here it comes, somebody.
I think it's coming. All right. Sally, I've got to throw it a long way, girl, but you know it's coming to you because it's been ages since I've seen you. All right, Sally Swain, here it comes.
It's in one of the teacups. It's in one of the teacups. Which one? Oh, here it is. Here it is.
Thank you.
It's tiny.
Yeah.
Very little. I think it's for Tiff. It's coming the way of Tiff. I got it. Here it is. Holding it. Oh, it's like taffy. Oh, tasty energy. On to you, Marg.
Thank you. Oh, it's hot. Help. It's hot. Quick, Diana, take it. It's hot.
Nice.
Diana, what happened?
Oh,
Did
got
burn
it.
up on the way? Got it?
No, got it. Sorry.
Oh,
It was so hot I had to blow on it. Sorry.
I didn't hear you,
Sorry.
see you. Yeah, it's okay.
Sorry. Oh, yeah, no, got it. I'm just blowing because it was so hot I had to sort of blow. And here we go. And it's going again. And Shelley, it's yours. Sending it through.
Oh, now it's as light as a feather. Can you feel that? It's so soft and gentle. Oh, what beautiful energy. I think I might need to see who I'm going to send this one to. We might send it to Annette. I don't think Annette's had this yet. It might take a while
if it's a double
to
dip,
reach
just
you.
say yes. Just grab it, Annette, and pass it to someone else. Put up your hand if you haven't been anointed with the energy yet. I think Michelle, welcome Michelle and Marianne.
Okay. Thank you, Shelley. Thank you. And yes, I've double dipped.
Oh, did you? It's hard to see on the screen.
That's
No,
okay.
that's all right.
That's
We've
a
got a new
wonderful thing.
got a new system now. So I think Coming your way, Marianne. And here it is. And it's wee
Wow.
to you.
Oh my God, it's floating like helium. Wow. Michelle, here you go. Take this balloon.
Flying everywhere, everywhere.
And we've all got it. Michelle, you
Yes.
can share it with all of us.
Everybody.
Yes. Thank you.
Yes.
Welcome.
Yes, we're awake now. That was so much fun. So we're going to keep the goodness flowing, because today we have the great privilege, delight and pleasure of being with Miss Sally Swain. So when I was younger, in my younger years in Australia, and I started hanging out as an artist, like I was an artist, I was a theatre maker, you know, in my early 20s, there were certain people who you started to hear their name, and Sally Swain was one of those names. And Sally was an artist. And I was like, I'm wondering who this Sally is. And so I don't know how long it is, Sally, but it's been a while since I knew who you were, and then we got to connect. And what I know about Sally is that she's a committed artist. She's an artist, an author, an art therapist, a creative coach. And the whole time I've known her, she never dropped the art ball. When I think about art, Sally Swain, to me, is art. She is living art. And she works now with people, and has for a long time, on how that creativity and that art making can do more than make something beautiful or make something out into the world, but what it can make for you. And so today, it is my great pleasure to invite to Moving Fearlessly, Sally Swain. Over to you, Sally.
Thank you so much, Deb. I'm feeling almost a bit teary. It's like, oh, I feel like I'd like to carry you in my pocket everywhere I go. And yeah, thank you. That I've not been described as living art before. Thank you. May I believe we're all living art. We're all living art, actually. Ah, well, so wonderful to be here and be with. I'm sort of thinking, why am I doing a creativity session with this mob of people? You're all like bursting with creativity. I mean, in just one look at the passing of the energy, and hell, let's finish up and just I'm happy to share my teacups with you. But no. Creativity for survival and sustenance. The process of arriving at that title for this session and that sense of this session in itself has a story and was creative, but that's not the story I'm going to tell. But yeah, creativity for survival and sustenance. Let yourself breathe that in. It's quite big, actually. And it doesn't have to be big, overwhelming. It's maybe just give it space, allow it to be. So here's a bit about me and creativity for survival and sustenance. Just one story. My mum's dementia and distress increased through much of last year up till the early part of this year, when she died of a heart attack just before her aged care home went into lockdown, 2 days before. I was her main emotional carer for years, and that my anxiety increased dramatically, like big time, particularly leading up to March. So I was living off adrenaline for a long time and hypervigilant and continually trying to figure out how to support her, how to alleviate her suffering. And creativity saved me. mind you, my partner, my sister, my therapist, my friends, my community saved me. And creativity saved me. So Saturday morning dance impro group. My writing out the blurts, getting stuff out of my system, writing the difficult stuff, singing and playing the ukulele, art making. So sometimes just a little bit. In fact, just before you all arrived this morning, and I was feeling a little frazzled, and Deb, I arrived with Johanna and Deb led us on a little grounding thing, and I thought, okay, why don't I have my paints right here at hand? Very unusual. Went off and grabbed them, thought I must get some blue and green onto paper, which helped calm me enormously. Yeah. And there was a time when, I would sometimes I'd grab, I'd glue some Kleenex tissues onto paper and just put paint and watery paint on that and just watch colours spread out. And in a very unplanned, unpredictable, sometimes chaotic way, but sort of much like, but not at all like the unplanned, unpredictable chaos that I was experiencing kind of in me and around me. So something about creativity for survival and sustenance. And just another bit of that story is a typical Saturday might have been go to the dance impro group, arrive feeling completely drained, leave feeling re-energized, race home, make a thermos of tea for my mum and some tidbits, and grab my ukulele and go over. She'd likely still be in bed at 2 p.m, even though the best abilities of the nurses to persuade her to get up didn't work somehow. And she might be, I won't go into details, but she might be in great fear or distress or depression. And I would entice her to get up, help her get dressed. Somehow we'd find our way up to the gardens. I'd put a little tablecloth on the picnic table and bring out my ukulele. And within 2 minutes of singing and playing the uke, she'd be smiling and singing and laughing and making sometimes quite, she had a very dry, black sense of humour, kind of dry, and then so she would teach me songs that, and she was always singing, actually, most of the time. That was one of the things that sustained her. In fact, she was known around the place, and some of the residents found it intensely irritating, but most of the staff loved it, and continually singing. She taught me songs I'd never even heard before. So feel free to, I'm just going to do one little refrain. Feel free to clap or click along. All the cowhands want to marry Harriet. Harriet's handy with a lariat, but she don't want to marry it. She's a having too much fun. Yeah. So creativity for survival and sustenance. I'm excited to be here and to be maybe ambitiously hoping to guide you through not 1, not 2, but 3 ultra swift creative processes. Hope you're okay to do that. And actually, if you have a pen or pencil or a colour nearby, that'd be fantastic, and a bit of paper. We won't go do that immediately, but with the pen and paper, or you might just feel you want to get something down there. You might already be writing and jotting. Shall we go? Can we go on gallery view? Oh, maybe I need to do that myself.
If you don't have gallery view yet on your Zoom, you can just go up to the top and push for gallery view. because we're all going to come back together as a group. Sally, thank you so much for sharing that story with us.
You're very
You
welcome.
really bring in not only the survival but the sustenance. And I have to say, I was not expecting the singing, and I loved it. Yeah.
Thanks, Deb. Yeah. So maybe close your eyes if you're okay to for a moment, and feel your feet on the floor and your parts of your body making contact with the chair. And you do anything that I suggest. You might say, kind of go, no, I don't feel like doing that. That's of course fine. You might have your own way, completely fine. The invitation is to consider and see what just pops into your heart or your head in this moment. If you were a plant, what plant would you be? So just see whatever comes to you. It doesn't have to be niced up or pretty, or it could be any kind of plant for just right now. There's two parts to this. Just allow yourself to be with that plant and notice things about yourself as this plant. Allow it to be, however it is. And then part 2 is, what's the plant you'd like to be? Might be exactly the one that already came to you. It might be a tweak or a variation, or the original plant might grow into something else, or it could be an utterly different plant. The one that you'd like to be. Allow it to be there in its fullness. And so this is a little creative play with metaphor. Many of you are, or probably most of you are very experienced with this kind of exploration. It's there as a potential nourishment, a tuning into ourselves. Actually, let's just really briefly hear from maybe 3 of you. And anything you want to, whatever your plant, one or the other of your plants is. Let's meet some of those plants. Mark.
I actually happened to be drawing while you were talking earlier, and I didn't know what I was drawing, but suddenly when I was finished, I realized that it was water lilies. And so that was kind of the first thing that came to me, and it was also the second thing. So water lilies are where it's at for me.
Where it's
right
at.
now.
Yeah, fantastic. Oh yes, the sparklation that happens in these groups. Yeah, thanks, Mark. Michelle.
Sorry. I started off with a lemon-scented verbena because I think that's well, but the leaves aren't all that attractive. But anyway, and then I moved to a David Austin rose, which has the most beautiful perfume. That's the word.
Beautiful perfume.
Yes.
Thanks, Michelle. Let's hear 1 or 2 more.
Right.
Diana.
I was going to go Shelley.
That's okay.
I started off as an asparagus plant. I wanted something else, and I ended up a gum tree.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Gum tree. Very tall and majestic.
Thank you. Thanks, Diana.
Yeah, that one.
Wow. And Shelley, I hadn't seen you. Do you want to share?
That was, rhododendron. So it had pointy green leaves, but the flowers were so bright, and I was just happy being sort of half in the shade, half in the sun. So a bit of cool, a bit of warm. And I was happy being the rhododendron. Yeah, I was happy to stay.
Rhododendron. Yeah, happy to stay the rhododendron.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, Sally, when you said you're a plant, I got a really tall, big, beautiful sunflower.
Oh.
I was really happy being the sunflower. And then when you said the one that you want to be, it immediately became night jasmine.
Oh,
And I was like, that's so interesting, like the day and the night jasmine so small and delicate and many, many, but the first sunflower was just like one big sunflower. They both just popped in so clearly.
Yes. Yeah. Fabulous. Thank you.
About that later.
Yes. So such a simple process, such a simple thing to even, I did exactly that for myself last night. Oh, who knows that? Who knew I was going to be a blue chalk? I only just learnt the name of these blue chalk succulent cactusy thing, blue chalk grass, I think it's called. And it was a little bit pockmarked. But anyway, who knew? Who knows what's just bubbling there in this continual flow and stream of imagination and creativity that's within all of us. So very, very simple creative process, and so gorgeous actually to do this with each other, as you know, so that's potentially valuable for oneself. And so any of these processes we do this morning might lead to other further creativity, such as journaling, as Deb said. So we'll keep moving as we do in moving fearlessly. I'm not an expert at moving fearlessly, by the way. I just have to say, Yo and Deb, fearless is not my middle name. I can be a very fearful person, and it's kind of like feel the fear and do it anyway kind of thing.
Absolutely. We do that too.
Oh, I'm sure you do. Of course you do. Maybe fearlessly is the aspiration.
Yes, that's right.
I'm an aspirational fearless person. So let's indulge in a little bit. It'll just be a few minutes of Sacred Scribble. This is a fancy name for doodling. Mindfully. So if you're okay, if you do have a pen or colour and some paper at hand, that'll make it easier than I guess, but you might do it just in the air or in your mind. Your strongest need might be in this moment just to keep waking up and do some creative being. And this, so ideally it is about being and not doing and striving and pushing. So creativity can be there as a resource for us to be and be with ourselves. So if you've got a drawing or writing implement in one hand, it could be your dominant or non-dominant hand, see however you feel, and a piece of paper, you might close your eyes for a moment just to once again breathe. Let each hand feel what it's making contact with. The pen or pencil, maybe the other hand's actually touching the paper. Maybe lightly with the pads of your fingers, maybe firmly and heavily, and maybe feeling the edges, seeing if it has a temperature, a warmth or a coolness to it. Maybe even a texture, a smoothness or a roughness to it. And breathing fully all the while, because often we hold our breath when concentrating. And allowing the hand that's holding the implement, the vehicle of your expression, allowing that hand to feel this implement, maybe a weight of it, a lightness of it, and allowing, you might have already begun, you might not, so maybe allow this implement to make contact with the paper and following whatever gesture comes to you in the moment, even if it's surprising. So it might be fast or slow. It might be heavy or light pressure. It might be that you feel an urge to do something small repeatedly, and it might be jabbing sort of dots or dashes. It might be long, flowing, continuous lines. You might open your eyes every now and then, or you might want to stay in the closed eyes space and just trust that something's coming onto the paper, and who knows what it's going to look like. You certainly can't control what it's going to look like. It's not about being a product, not at this moment in time. It might become that if you hung out with it for a while. It's just really letting yourself, if you can, be nourished by this creative process. And breathing and just letting it happen. We'll do this for another just minute or so. It's not about whether you can draw or cannot draw, or whether someone else in your family is the artist and you're not. It's just about you nourishing yourself, exploring, allowing, being in touch with the sensory qualities. Practicing what I call kindfulness, which is kind of like mindfulness or awareness plus self-compassion, mindful self-compassion, kindfulness. And if you've had your eyes closed, when you do open your eyes, see if you can look with kind eyes at whatever's emerged onto the paper. It is not, if you did have a picture in your head, it's not going to be the same, definitely not going to. See if you can stay in touch with whatever the most enjoyable or calming or whatever aspects of the process were for you as you look at it. Possibly even some sense of wonder, who knows? You might notice negative inner critic stuff coming up, or you might not. That's what it does. Inner critics often appear with creativity alongside it. I think we'll so I'm just looking at my time piece here and think we're going to go straight into the next creative process, and then after that we'll have a chance to hear how it was. So let us flow with that sacred scribble energy into another possibility for grounding, releasing, strengthening, survival, sustenance, whatever might come from engaging with heartful creativity. The next one's possibility is a writing one. And you might go, no way, I've just started doing this scribble, I'm going to keep going with it, or I've just started being in touch with my eyes closed with some sort of energy I like, I'm going to hang out in that space. That's fine. You follow your impulse. If you do feel up to doing the writing, it's very short and swift and hopefully very accessible. Lists. Now, who thinks of lists as creative? The to-do list, the endless to-do list. No. Lists can be a fantastic, actually, creative tool, life tool. So we'll have a couple of minutes to write 2 lists if you want to, or you might combine them into one, and it's just like, the only guideline is keep your hand moving. Keep writing no matter what comes out, even if it's a scribble or if it's a blurt, or you keep just writing the same damn thing over and over and over again. That's fine. So the idea is, the invitation is to write, I was thinking of it as a lovely list and a lousy list. So it might, list 1 might be things that are going okay at the moment, a few things that I'm enjoying or that are going okay, a few bits of lovely. And the other one might be what's given me the shits at the moment, what's difficult, what am I struggling with, a lousy list. Just get them. And you might kind of go, no, I don't feel like doing a lousy list right now. Thank you very much. It's taken me all morning to get in touch with feeling okay. So up to you. That's the suggestion to lists. We'll have really 2 minutes. So I'll keep my mouth shut for a little while. I'll try to. Trust your heart, trust your hand. Whatever comes through, even if it's boring or yucky or whatever. Don't have to force or push anything out. It's more allowing, about allowing and giving yourself permission. It's for you. It's not for anyone else. Just for you. And let's have 1 more minute with this. So it's not about how much or how little you write. It's really about nourishing yourself. So amazing, amazing women. You have just engaged with 3 quite varied, utterly different really, but maybe very similar, deeply similar creative processes. Plant metaphor, sacred scribble, list writing, lovely and lousy lists, maybe even. So take a strong breath and let it go. Maybe a sigh. Creative sighing is the best. Sigh, a yawn, a grizzle, a sing, a blah, a stretch. And we have a bit of time for you to, one at a time, say something, share something of how any of that was for you, I guess fairly briefly each. What stood out in any of those processes for you, or maybe all 3 of them as a whole? What's potentially something that might speak to you of creativity for survival or sustenance? It'd be wonderful to hear.
Beautiful.
Tiff.
Thank you so much, Sally. Just engaging in that process, just thinking of myself as that's just the process of connecting and touching the paper. I found myself smiling the whole time, just doing it. And even writing the lousy list, I was smiling, and my lousy list ended up being, and right at the moment, in this kind of stage in my life, I've been feeling pretty lousy, and my lousy list is 3 things, and my lovely list is, over the page, it's going into the lousy list side. So just the process of doing it, and and realizing that, sometimes I write in my journal and it's a kind of a blur, and I feel like I just need to be documenting stuff that happens, and in actual fact this just freed me of that, and I was smiling the whole way through, and I feel lovely.
Oh. Oh. Lovely. What more can I say? Lovely. Oh. And Annette.
Thanks, Sally. Yes, it was a really nice experience. Not nice as word, but actually I was anticipating it to be wonderful, because I had my colored pencils already, and I have a big day today, and I thought, oh, can I join this session? And I thought, yeah, I can, because these sessions always make me feel good afterwards. So thanks for everybody who makes them such a wonderful experience. So the having the color, finding my colored pencils was a journey in itself, and that's lovely. And the sacred scribble for me was really the thing that I found really so much release in the gestures of the hand, and the freeness, the liberty of allowing the spontaneous improvised choreography of that limb that we don't use in a creative way, in such a free way in our mundane life. So I'm going to keep using Sacred Scribble. So thank you very much for that.
Great pleasure. Spontaneous improvised choreography. right back at you with that creative. I was going to say fruition and then fluidity. So creative fruition.
Fruition, thanks. I'll take that one. Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was loving the scribble myself. and I realized I can't believe after all these wonderful creativity workshops, and I see myself as a creative person, but I don't have any colored pencils. And I went, this weekend, I am going out and buying colored pencils. That's the end of this. I can't believe, that was a real shock. I'm still sitting with and processing. But apart from that, I was looking at my thing and going, no, I don't. I can't, I've got these things for, whiting out lists of things to do and highlighting important things. Anyway, so I took this and because I thought I really need some color. And I was just enjoying closing my eyes. And then I started drawing. Then I just really let my body go and just really followed, I can't remember what you said, but just allowing. That's right, the allowing moment. And just was loving just, okay, don't control it at all. It's messy, it's chaotic. Just go for that. Just go. And it was just beautiful to do. And then slowly, the opening of the eyes. And I've ended up with a Miro-esque kind of design that
That's great.
Yay.
so it was just such a lovely process of the whole process, the internal, the realization, the sensuality of it, the energy shifting, and and then for me this focus of script, putting a little bit more detail in.
And the embodied, just when you talk about the embodied drawing, embodied art.
Yeah, that was.
Sorry to hear about the coloured pencil trauma, though. And glad that you'll be taking some action.
yeah. To-do list.
To-do list.
Pencils.
To-do list, buy coloured pencils so I can write a to-do list in coloured pencils.
Yeah, that's right. So I can scribble.
Yeah.
I love Sacred Scribble.
Yeah. Just on that, I think it's interesting that the Sacred Scribble exercise came before the list one, because we've kind of freed up our kind of intuitive kind of gesturing of our things, and then somehow that flows into how we write. And picking up on that thing that someone spoke about, their journaling, or Tiff, their journaling was about documenting, and so maybe start prefacing your journaling with scribbling might help that non-documenting stuff to happen through your hand somehow.
Thanks, Annette. And I was actually going to do it the other way around. It's great that my original plan until the last minute, or till last night, was kind of the writing, almost like going with, that's often an easier and more relatable access point. Often people have fewer artist judgments around writing a list than maybe about drawing. But anyway, I've got other things to say, but I'd love to hear more. Tiff, go Tiff. Let's hear from someone else. Marg. Oh, there were several. Marg and Marianne. Is it Marianne? Yeah. Whichever. Marg, you've got the speaker.
I love the scribbling as well, and I kind of noticed when I opened my eyes that I kind of like scribbles more than other drawings or paintings sometimes. And so the immediate thought was, I wish all my art looked like that. And then kind of thought about the people wouldn't like it. And so it kind of felt like my true art is for myself. And then if I want people to like it, then I can do other stuff for them.
My true art. Wow.
So I drew on this piece of paper that came out of an old book that I found that was a series of letters from some man who was at war writing to his wife or his love. And at the top of the page, it just says, yours, body and soul. And I really, I love that.
Wow. Thank you, my true art. Marianne.
Thanks, Sally, and everyone for sharing such deep emotions and thoughts and everything. And you really took us on a journey, and took me. I guess when you first started with the Sacred Scribble, I think I was still very conscious, because the first thing that I drew was an actual palm tree, and it was very defined and very how do you say, with the actual marker pen. And then when you said, you can keep your eyes closed or whatever, because I had my eyes open before, I used another pen, and then I was more free in what I was actually writing. And even though I don't think it looks good, it just felt good to have the eyes closed and then just do whatever just came. So I thought that was interesting, because even I don't consider myself to be artsy. I love painting and doing stuff, but I'm always like, oh, this isn't perfect, and not knowing where to stop. So I think I could try to use some of that Sacred Scribble and just being free in doing that maybe in the future. And then when I did the lovely list and the lousy list, I did ended up writing a few things in the lousy list, but the lovely list was much longer, triple the time. And yeah. And if I was to choose a word to what I feel now, and it's calm. So thank you.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
So we've probably got time for one more, if there's anybody else who wants to chat. And if there's anybody who doesn't get a chance, you can write it in the chat. But yeah,
Michelle, I think, thanks, Deb. And I think, Michelle, you had one finger.
Thank you. I feel what everyone said, as usual, is very much my experience. But I love the Sacred Scribble because I couldn't use any pineapples, and it was just coming straight from me. And I sort of trusted myself. I had my eyes closed the whole time, and everything's always intense for me. So getting into all this intense stuff, and then I somehow or other drew these pathways out. And I thought, wow, there's choices and there's different pathways. And I got really very excited about that. And I opened my eyes and they were pathways out.
Oh, wow.
So I was sort of really amazed by that. And the other thing I think, Marianne, you said was this really surprised me, made me very positive, was the list. And the list about, what was it, the things I'm not happy about or whatever, was so much shorter. There was only about 5 items in it, and the other one goes on and on and on.
Yeah.
Oh, it's always droning on about something. So, yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. And I'm aware, thank you so much. Just to say, before I hand back to Deb, I just want to quickly say very big thank you, of course, to all of you. And just an explanation of Michelle's pineapples is, and there's a long history of the that's great. The long history of the pineapples is, but it's what you say when you want to apologise for your work, your creative, when you're wanting you to say, but it's not very good, and it's, and I'm no good at this. You say, pineapples. Get that out of the way. Pineapples. Yeah. And so, yeah, thank you, everybody. It's been an absolute joy and growing experience.
Had some responses here that they love the paint metaphor. Liberated by Diana. Lovely stepping through the depth of self through creativity. Like, if you have a chance to have a little read of also some other responses in our community around this process. Really beautiful, Sally. Really, really, I knew there was going to be a flow, and I tell you, I'm flowing.
It's gorgeous.
Flowing. It's feeling nice.
You've come to fruition.
I have come to fruition. I have indeed. And I invite all of you to continue to work like with your sacred scribbling and your lists and your metaphors, and if anything arrives that you want to share with Sally, I'm going to be sending a replay of this so you can share it, watch it again, or share it with anybody else who you think needs some fruition. And you're also going to get some contact details for Sally. So if you want to reach out and learn more about what she does, or hang out in some more Zoom rooms with Sally and get into some fruition, then I invite you to do that. Next week, we're going to play with the trees. Next week, Satara, who is a tree whisperer, is coming to work with us. And she's going to be working with us on the somatic wisdom of trees. I've worked with Satara before, and I'm telling you, it's going to be a treat, different type of treat than today, but it's going to be a treat. It's going to be a treat with trees. So you want to be with us next week. So we have Satara Gare, the wisdom of trees. And then the week after that, we're going to see you on Wednesday, but we're not going to see you in the morning. We're going to be seeing you in the evening for the very, very first Australasian Your Story Now digital showcase. Woo! It's a program that Fearless Communicators does, which works with people on getting their story and their pitch crafted, ready to present. And Diana and Tiff are in our first circle and will be with us. Yes, Yo and I will be facilitating and coaching. It's going to be fantastic. You are absolutely getting an invite. So on November 4th, Wednesday, November 4th, we're not going to see you in the morning, but at 6 p.m, we're going to put on a big party. All of that will be communicated to you via email, or you can reach out to Johanna, or you can reach out to me if you need to know anything. But for now, we're going to close as we do close. Thank you, Sally. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, everyone in our community.
Beautiful.
If you need to leave, we understand if you need to leave, we're 1 minute past. We love you and we wish you well for your Wednesday. If you can stay, the way we like to end is like this. Bye, Sally. Thank you. Put your hand up to the screen.
Lovely, Sally.
Put your hand up to the screen so we can all see that we are accounted for. And we're going to see, acknowledge, and thank each other. I'll begin. Once you've been acknowledged, you put your hand down. Annette. Oh, I see you. I see you down there on my screen. I see you. I'm so pleased to see you. I appreciate you and thank you. You want to unmute yourself? Always today. Everyone could unmute themselves now. Diana and Tip.
Yeah. Thank you, Deb. And thank you. And thank you. And thank you. Claire, I see you and I acknowledge you. And I also feel that on this very expressive day, I was thinking about you and I was thinking how beautifully and creatively you caught whatever you caught. And as I was doing my scribble, I thought, I wish I was in physical presence with Claire to talk about sacred scribbling. So thank you, Claire, for being here.
Thank you. Tiff, I see your vibrant energy and just want to mirror back how joyful it has been to be with you this session.
Thank you so much, Claire. Yes, absolutely.
Fantastic.
Sally, you were the antidote that I needed today. I see you, I feel you, I hear you. Thank you so much for your wonderful gifts. I've really missed this group and I'm glad to be back, and I was glad to be back with that session. That was perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tiff. So much to you. And Michelle. Lovely Michelle, I see you and welcome you and love your presence and what you bring forth and what you say and how you express yourself, what you have to offer. Thank you so much. I see you and I thank you.
Thank you, Sally. You know how much I see you, and I love you too. Thank you. I certainly see you. Thank you.
And you might name somebody else.
Yes, sorry.
That's all right.
Yeah. Diana, I just I've loved your thoughtfulness and yeah, sort of liberated me listening to what you had to say as well. So thank you. And I do see you. Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. Shelley, I've been really appreciating your smiling face in the background there on the little screen. And I see you and I hear you and I thank you.
Thank you, Diana. That's beautiful. And I was wondering where you're from, because you're from the Wurundjeri land people. Yeah,
Melbourne.
I'm from Melbourne as well, so I thought you must have been.
Awesome.
Oh, there you go, Montmorency. I wanted to say hi to you to see where you were. Thank you, Diana. Oh, hello, beautiful. Oh, who do I choose? You're so beautiful, Johanna. Oh my goodness. I feel you. I appreciate you and I see you and your beautiful, warm, yummy, vibrant, joyful, loving energy. And this is the second time I've done this and it was just so lovely to see you. So thank you for everything you bring here. It's just a delight.
Oh, thank you, Shelley. Oh, that's so beautiful. I'm receiving that beautifully. And Deb, oh my goodness, sister, soul sister, inspiring sister, dancing sister, loving sister, deep sister, creative sister, go sister. So wonderful to be here with you every week. Oh, every week. I love you, Deb. I love what you bring in the world and honor and respect and appreciate that and celebrate you.
I like that. I love that. And I love you all. I see you all. I appreciate you all. I want to see you again. Thank you so much for being with us. Mwah.
Mwah.